All right, hello and welcome to another Expert Inside interview. My name is John Golden from Sales Pop, online sales magazine, and Pipeliner CRM, joining you as usual from sunny San Diego. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Len Ward, who is across the other side of the country in South Jersey. How you doing, Len?
Good. How are you, John?
Excellent. And Len is the founder and managing partner of Cemmexis, where he works directly with business owners, marketing leaders, and executives teams to help them future proof their marketing and operations through AI consulting and digital transformation. And that's what we're going to talk about today is AI and marketing. Um, Len, just let me bottom line for this. I'm sure it has changed a lot over even in the last 3, 6, 9 months, a year. Um, but when you talk to businesses, do you still have business owners who just believe that like AI just isn't for us right now?
Yeah, there are quite a few people who still are in that camp of, dragging their feet, or I
Mhm.
think they don't know enough about it. But I
Yeah,
will say, because I have experience in being when the internet was kind of taking over, and that was really slow for people to adopt. This is a little faster.
yeah,
I think there's so much information coming at business owners, CEOs, CMOs, and so forth that they know they have to do something. So the people who aren't interested in I think they're the ones that just don't understand it. But so there is still a little resistance out there, a little more than I thought there would be, to be honest with you.
Really. And what is the and what are give me some examples of what the resistance is like, just out of interest. I'd love to know what people are saying.
They don't believe it, and you know why they
Mhm.
don't believe it? They don't believe it because they haven't done it or haven't engaged with it, or
Gotcha.
maybe they will go to, like, a ChatGPT or a Gemini or Claude, and they type something in, and they're like, "This doesn't make any sense." So, that's kind of where the resistance normally comes from. "Oh, I tried it." Then they don't realize that's just one little part of the universe, LLMs. There's a million
Mhm.
different components to artificial intelligence that they should be looking at.
Yeah. So how do you talk them? How do you manage to persuade them of the value of AI?
Typically, I just do a demo.
Yeah.
I do something very quickly. So we whip up an AI chatbot. I'll create a very light marketing stack for them, and we'll go in and we'll start interacting with it in person or via video, sharing screen. And within 5, 10 minutes, it's always they're blown away. They can't believe what they're looking at. And it's not us that's creating it. We just consider ourselves AI pilots per se.
Right, right. And I guess and then when you work with these companies or whatever, you end up, helping them to transition from AI curious to hopefully AI core, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, we bring them over to the AI world.
Yeah. And tell me, and I think that's the important thing about AI, and I know we're talking about AI marketing, but just AI in general is people to understand that it is it is something that it can address a lot of different tasks within your organization. And if you look at it strategically, it can become your, your co-pilot in your business.
Yeah, it's funny because if you sit down with a company and you have a conversation with them, the first thing we say is, "Give me all the bottlenecks your company faces."
Mhm.
And 99% of the time, AI can break up those bottlenecks. And that's something that how many quarterly meetings, annual meetings are they talking about? And they're saying, "How do we get rid of this bottleneck? How do we speed this process up?" That's immediately where AI can show its initial impact. And once you see that, business owners at that point, then they want to really, really integrate AI.
Mhm. And so, tell me nowadays, right? So, there's a lot of people using AI for marketing, and one of the things is that there's a lot of lookalike content. There's a lot of, people are just generating, putting garbage out there, and everything. How do you help the companies you work with protect their brand voice?
Protect our brand voice, you mean on AI or
Just to protect, when there's so much when there's so much stuff and lookalike content being generated out there, how do you make sure that your use of AI is reinforcing your brand and not just coming across as just generating junk?
I think the number one thing you have to do to make sure you're not generating AI slop, which is a term everybody likes to use,
I
is
know that's a I isn't that's another we needed another term, didn't
yeah,
we?
I don't like that one either. I agree.
No.
However, eh, the number one thing I think people have to remember with AI, as magical as it is and as great as it is, and the bottlenecks it breaks, is you need to have human eyes on anything that's put out there. And I think what's happening right now is there's this race to get content out there as quick and as fast as you can because we grew up in this content world with the internet. Create more content. Content is king. It is,
Mhm.
but it's king when it actually is solving a problem or adding value. So we tell people no matter how great the AI processes are or AI platforms are, and we build some really nice marketing stacks, you have got to have your internal team put eyes on the stuff that goes out. If you do that, you're protecting your brand, you're making sure that the stuff you're putting out there makes sense. And honestly, if you read a lot of content, you're in the business world, you're looking at things, you can identify AI content pretty quickly. A lot of times people
Mm.
forget to leave like little strips of questions in there that actually the AI will ask you back when it's writing content.
Yep.
People just cut, paste, and throw it out there. So that's the number one way to protect your brand. Verify every single thing that's going out there. Let nothing slide out there.
So, and one of the other issues well, I would say one of the biggest issues that companies face is, I mean, you can come in and you can help them, but if their internal data isn't very clean, if their processes aren't well defined, AI is not going to fix any of that stuff.
No, it's the very first way we start with everybody. Marketing, sales, customer service, business processes is all your data has to be clean and it has to be organized. If you do have any data laying around the office that has not been digitized, and I know that sounds very archaic, but you
No?
get more than you think, you have to get all of that on digitized. You have to get it within a data room, data lake, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
You have to have it organized. You have to have it clean, and it has to be an area where AI can plug directly into and start harvesting that data to help you break bottlenecks, answer questions, strategy, and so forth.
So that's an area, obviously, if you want a quick win, is you find an area like that, you clean the data, and then you apply the AI and you can show the proof of concept.
Yeah, one of the quickest way to do it is really have like clean data and put an AI chatbot directly on top of Dropbox, Google Drive, or something along those lines, and start talking to your data. Start
Mhm.
getting things organized. But that is probably the quickest win somebody can have in AI, and that can be all done internally. Or you could always, hire someone like us to help you create an AI chatbot. But organizing your data is paramount right now. You really need to. That should be the number one initiative. Quarter 1, 2026 is getting your data clean, organized, and ready to go.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the biggest misconception people have, is that they don't realize that, because they're probably one of the first things you say, like, is, oh, you need to clean your data. Great, you have an AI tool for that. And you go, no, that's the point.
Yeah, you're right. That is a thing. We'll come out and just give you a bunch of stuff. Well, you can, but even if we have it, we do have to organize it so AI can read it properly. It's not quite at the point where it takes all the data and organizes it for you, meaning initial data. It can do that once it's in a room.
Yeah, give me some examples. You don't have to name companies, but just like at a high level, give me some examples of the projects you've done with some companies, and what the results have been and the steps you've taken them through.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things we've done. One of the things that we really like that we've done is the AI chatbots, which basically puts a voice on your website
Hmm.
and it literally talks to users. It becomes your best salesperson, and it really, it answers questions, and it answers questions at a really good salesperson level. But that's really good. So in other words, everybody deals like a live agent. You've dealt with that on a website
Yeah.
before. You really don't get anywhere. You're
Yeah.
talking to a human being, and they're just trying to get the lead. This thing
Mhm.
really kind of walks you through the company's services, the processes, and it gets you to the point where you're showing up at their front door educated. The other thing we do is you can flip that on its head and actually create an internal chatbot where you're creating all the SOPs and everything else, and you're organizing that in a data room. And now your internal customer service team can interact with that. And rather than taking, hey, I'll have an hour to get back to you, now it's happening instantaneously. You can create scopes of work, proposals, solve problems immediately, internally, externally. The other thing we've done is we create an AI marketing stack, which is kind of where that's our tip of the spear.
Yeah.
And we create an AI marketing stack that literally runs like an internal marketing team. And then the Cemmexis team comes in and helps you run it. And eventually you will be in flight running on your own. I don't like to say this loosely, but it does eliminate the need to have endless marketers, endless agencies working with you. I know we're all in that world and we want to kind of
Mhm.
keep our jobs, but the AI marketing stack is truly the future of where marketing is going to be. I say this though, that with the caveat, you still have to have internal pilots running that or external pilots running that. Um,
Mhm.
but those stacks are tremendous because it really fills in the gaps of marketing, eliminates a lot of ad spend, and it really, once you start, interacting with it and run your company through it, all the marketing data, your strategy gets tighter, your conversions get a lot quicker, and really the way you're servicing the customer gets better. So those are the two quickest wins we walk in, and then from there we start, expanding out to AI for business processes, AI for
Mhm.
sales, and so forth. But those are the two quickest ways we work with clients.
So what does an AI marketing stack look like?
AI marketing stack, we basically, what we do is we create a bunch of custom GPTs that all talk to each other.
Right.
There is what we call the marketing brain 360, which is that's the CMO knows everything about your business. We train it up on all of your information, your industry, TAM, you name it, every other possible thing you can, that thing knows it. It then identifies what your goal is, $1 million a quarter, $1 million
Mhm.
a month, whatever it may be. And then it looks at your marketing campaign and then it starts allocating tasks. over to a content GPT, over to a
Right.
brand GPT, social, and so forth. And they all talk together. It's the step before automation. So
Yeah.
we basically manually have to walk that stuff all the way over, but that's what a marketing stack is. And there's other components like Canva and Opus Clip and all
Sure.
that stuff we kind of stack in there. But that's kind of what it is. We build the stack all the way up, and it's so nimble that when there is an update on OpenAI or Claude or anything like that, we can move the stack around pretty quickly.
Mhm. So how does so how does the marketing folks themselves, how can they make themselves indispensable in an era of AI, and where AI is going to become more and more prevalent, and it's, marketing is obviously an obvious area. It's been one of the first areas to be impacted. What do you if you're a marketing person right now, how do you make yourself indispensable?
You immediately want to change your frame of mind of search and retrieve to solve a problem. So
Mm,
you have, and we all have been for the better part of 20 something years with digital marketing, we have been trained to customers are going to search for something, search to solve their problem, and they're going to look at all the retrieved answers, all the blue links that come back on Google, whatever search engine you're using. You now need to get to the point where an individual is going to show up to your website, show up to your brand, and they're going to want their problem solved immediately. That's the
right.
very first step you need to take to say, I have to solve the customer's problem. No longer is it, I have to try to identify all these pieces of content to try to
Mhm.
walk the customer along the buyer's journey. The buyer's journey is they're showing up at the very end and they want you to solve that problem. So the minute marketers embrace that and then identify AI tools that can help solve their customers' problems right away, that's how they're going to, basically extend their career and find themselves insulated from getting laid off. If you're just digital marketing, generating leads, I'm going to rank you on Google. That's a really, really archaic way to look at things. You'll last for the next 18 months. But if you have not made any changes to solve customers' problems using AI products or understanding the AI world, you're going to find yourself looking for another profession.
Yeah, and part of that, as you said, is understanding the AI world and understanding how AI works and what AI is looking for. And because I know there's a lot of people talking now saying like, "Oh, I've got to show up on the AI searches and stuff. I got to be in there." But they don't realize, like, in order to do that, you have to make your content. You have to have a strategy for making it easy for LLMs to access your content and to make it useful. Like you said, it has to. They love to. They want to solve problems. Your content has to solve problems.
Correct. There's a way you can optimize the website. You can
Mhm.
do FAQs, you can put
Yeah.
Shima code on the website. There's all optimization things you can do for that to be cited in the LLMs. However, it comes back to the old school. You got to build your brand. You got to be on
Mhm.
podcast. You have to be interacting on social media and all that stuff that none of the business owners wanted to do because it was annoying. Now
Yeah.
you have to do that because they're citing reliability, trustworthiness, and they're citing basically, can you solve an answer or can you solve a problem? Can you answer a question? And that's not going to come from backlinks to your website or just creating more and more content that nobody's going to read. It's really building your entire brand all the way out. So again, when you shift that mentality of search retrieve to solve the problem, that's where everything starts clicking. But yes, there is a way to show up in those things, but focus on building your brand and the trustworthiness of it. And that means by doing a lot of different types of marketing, and you're going to find yourself showing up in those LLMs a lot faster.
And I guess, as you said, I guess that's the thing, that sometimes it's hardest to sell internally, and sometimes executives, maybe those without any marketing background, sometimes it's hard to it's kind of sell that concept that it's a combat, that you have to do all these other things, even if you think, well, that sounds silly. Why would I be going on podcasts? Why would I be doing this? And not realizing that it's always the cumulative effect of these things. It's not like one thing.
No, you're right. It's not. And, we've always, a lot of times, great CEOs and business owners have hid behind sales or hid behind the company. They haven't really necessarily, unless they're answering because they have to do an earnings call, they haven't
Yeah.
really had to talk to a lot of people and so forth, unless they had to get involved in a deal. Now, I actually think marketing, where we are, is the intersection of influencer marketing and AI. And you have to be a little bit of a micro influencer. You have
Mhm.
to adjust how people are digesting their content. And think about Instagram and Reels and TikTok and YouTube Shorts. This is how people are digesting content, getting to know about a problem that's going to be solved from
Yeah.
a company. Business owners and CEOs have to really embrace that. They have to be able to get in front of a camera or go to networking events and doing certain types of sponsorship and interacting on social media. All the stuff, again, that they didn't want to do They have to do that type of stuff now because that's the way your buyer is expecting you. They want to see you talking. And if there are any LLMs looking for solutions, that's exactly what the LLMs are looking for as well.
And here's another interesting thing, Len, that's come up. I'm old enough now to remember. I spoke to, I don't know if you know David Meerman Scott, the author. He's written a bunch of marketing books.
Yeah.
But way back when, I remember interviewing him way back like 20 years ago or something, and he was saying at the time, salespeople uh, think that customers only search the company, but now they're actually searching you as an individual. And this was a big thing at the time, like, oh, your personal brand and how you show up. I think now people don't realize like how much they've taken that another step now, and they're using AI search, which gives a completely different, you're saying like a CEO, it's going to give a very different output on you as a person if you do it through an AI tool than if you do it through Google or whatever. And I think that's the important part. Like, how are you showing up now when AI starts to gather all these different inputs and come up with a composite of you?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I totally agree with you. They're literally typing in your name, they're typing in your company in the LLM. And if you're mentioned this on another
Mhm,
show, like if you're hiding pricing, if you're hiding processes, anything like that, LLMs, ChatGPT tables, because everybody knows that term,
mhm,
that's going to easily figure that out. It's going to know exactly what your pricing is. It's going to know somebody put your pricing somewhere. Somebody put your processes somewhere. You can't be afraid to be a very transparent company and talking about that because you are right. They are looking at your social media. They are looking at reviews, and then they're going to rate the LLM and they're going to say, "I'm thinking about hiring this
yep,
company. What do you know about them?" And it's going to come up with all this information. And the number one thing I tell salespeople, not at this exact moment, but within the next year, the prospects that are going to show up at your front desk are going to be the most qualified prospects you've ever seen. They're going to know just as much you about the industry. You're not going to have to answer a whole lot of questions to them. You're going to have to verify everything that they have found out online, namely the
mhm.
LLMs. You're going to do a good job of verifying that. So start putting that in mind. It's not necessarily your sales isn't going to happen when you're talking to the prospect. It's actually all going to happen way before the prospect gets to the front door. So think about that as you're working on a sales strategy.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Is that, yeah, you're going to have to be validating the things that they've already found out, and therefore you better make sure your information is correct that you're
Yeah.
putting out there to the world.
Yeah, makes public relations. A lot of people are like, "Oh, AI will kill public relations." I actually have told, we know people, great people in the public relations industry. I think you're actually coming into your golden era. I really, really believe that
Okay.
because you got to really talk about protecting your brand. Once the LLMs get a hold of it, it's going to take people like PR to come in there and put the fire out.
No, I agree with you. I think PR is going to become way, way more important. I couldn't agree with you more on that one. So put on your futurist hat for a second, Len, and tell me where's AI and marketing going in the next like 12 to 24 months?
I think in 12 to 24 months, you're going to find yourself with a agent, your internal agent, whether that's an AI agent, however it may
Yep.
look on a website, and that is going to be marketing to an individual's agent. So John will be walking around. I don't know if people know this or not, but OpenAI is very close to releasing an apparatus that you're either going to, nobody knows what it is.
Right.
It's either
Yep.
going to have on you, glasses, but there's some sort of
Mhm.
wearable that you're going to be using with an AI, your phone, whatever. And you're going to say, hey, I'm looking for a lawyer because I'm thinking about doing a trademark or whatever. Can you go out and try to find me what I need? And that your agent on your phone or the apparatus is going to go interact with other agents on other websites or whatever it may be and negotiate pricing. It's going to know exactly who you are. It's going to know exactly what you want, what type of credit card to put it on, every question possible. And you're going to go on your phone, you're going to look at it and be like, this is the law firm I want you to work with on a trademark because this is the one that hits all of our perimeters. So marketers have to start thinking. You think it's hard
Yeah.
now marketing to an individual on an LLM. Now imagine agent to agent marketing. So my prediction is within 12 months, agent to agent marketing is an actual thing, and it'll be one of the fastest growing marketing components out there.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's wow. That's an interesting future for us, though, isn't it? I mean,
Game changer. I mean, it really is a game changer. But if you were to tell somebody however many years ago, if we're around the same
Mhm.
age, I'm going to be able to order a bunch of stuff and take pictures on this box back in late 90s, you would have been laughing.
Yeah, 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 absolutely, absolutely. And if you were told about it in the early 90s or late 80s, you just think it was science fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this has been fantastic. Thanks, Len. All of Len's information will be below this video. But before we go, please do tell people a little bit more about you and what you do.
Yeah, basically we're Cemmexis. You can always come to our website, cemmexis.com, fill out a form. We're more of a consultancy, so we don't really work with everybody. But what we do is you work with me and you work with my really talented in-house team. And we help kind of build your AI from, from marketing all the way back to business processes. So, and hey, if you ever have just a question or want to pick my brain, I'm more than happy to do that as well.
Fantastic. Well, listen, thanks again, Len. Thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you all again very soon.